Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Today checking out some Swedish craft lager from OO Brewing. OO Brewing is one of my favorite Swedish breweries and they make some fantastic lagers. And this year they decided to brew a Festbier for the Oktoberfest season. If you haven't seen it already, we did a very fun little top 10 must-drink beers for Oktoberfest. Or your Oktoberfest theme party, and one of them was actually a beer from OO. It was Ektapils. But I saw this and I thought I'd had to grab it because they released quite a few new lagers. This one and also Pacific Pils, which is a Pilsner with Nelson Sauvin hops, or Nelson Sauvin, which is one of my favorite hops of all time. So I had to get that as well. And I got that. I got their Citra Blonde Ale and also the Boksbitter, which is like a bitter on around like 3%, which will be really fun to try. From here, this smells really good. So just to get that out of the bat here, or off the bat here, but this is their Festbier. It's 5.5%. It's a Märzen. And apparently they themselves were also really overwhelmed by the interest in this beer. So Festbier is not something you see too much of in Scandinavia. Around the Oktoberfest season, you'll see a little bit of imports, and some of the bigger German breweries, you'll see some of their stuff, but it's not as big as in other places in the world. So I think that might have also been why it was a bit of a surprise to them. But I love the design here. I mean, this looks exactly like what you want to drink for Oktoberfest. And I also love how they put it in a half-a-liter can, so they went with even bigger cans for this release than they usually do. And yeah, 5.5%. Poured it into my Schlenkerla mug because, it's Oktoberfest beer. You should be drinking it out of a stein. So, looks beautiful in the glass. When I poured it out, it had a whole lot bigger, fluffy head than now. Now there's not a lot, but it looked gorgeous. It was a big, pillowy, frothy white head. And the beer itself in the glass also looks fantastic. Lightly hazy, I think that's chill haze, but mostly a clear looking, lightly amber colored beer. It's almost like, it's like a golden yellow, but with a slight amber kind of hue to it. It looks like there is, Pilsner malt and maybe a little bit of a Vienna malt or Munich malt or something in there to give some complexity. And the things like Vienna Lager or Vienna Märzens, they vary a lot in terms of what they are. Like the one we had from Weinstefana was completely golden yellow, but stronger, and was kind of more Helles-like, but with a good breadiness. This looks like it's going to have a bit more of a malt complexity to it, just judging by the color. But let's check out the aroma on this one. And it certainly does. That smells really good. It's got a lot of like freshly baked bread. I'm almost getting like sourdough vibes, like a rye sourdough or something, because there's like a spiciness to it, which could be from hops. Yeah, it's like really fresh, crusty bread. Like really, like just coming straight out of the oven. And then there's a nice like peppery spice to it. That almost like Nettle hop vibe as well for me. A little bit. But I must say, steins are terrible for smelling beer. They are terrible for aromas. Like there's nothing to trap it. So you really have to try and dig your nose in there. And it's a bit tougher than sitting with a different glass. But what I can smell smells really good. There's like a soft toffee type touch, almost like caramelized nuttiness or something, but it's super light and super clean smelling. Just, it smells awesome. They do fantastic lagers at OO Brewing, and their untapped ratings are abysmal. Like, I can't fathom it. I think it's just because people in the craft industry and a lot of people, they mainly want to drink IPAs and stouts and whatnot. Still, like, it seems still like lager is still up and coming, and it's been for a long time. For a lot of people, I think it takes some time to really start appreciating. But this smells great. Let's give it a taste, guys. Cheers. This one is rated quite well though. But I think it was the Pivot Pills that they just released again, and it's got like 3.1 or something like that, which is like what? But yeah, it smells really good. Let's try it, guys. Cheers. That's a damn fine Märzen. That is really what I think of when I think Märzen. Märzen, I think of like these lagers with a bit more malt complexity. Not as much as in like box and double box and whatnot, but just a subtle undertone of like a Munich malt breadiness or something of the sort. Something like that, or Cara Munich, or a little bit of Vienna malt or something. Just like emphasis on more breadiness. And this has a very nice, it's like totally that like fresh, crusty, freshly baked bread kind of flavor. Like if I drank this blind, I would 100% think this was authentic and straight from somewhere in Munich or Bavaria. You know, it tastes exactly what I think of when I think classic, slightly darker Märzen. And it's Märzen, that's how you pronounce it, not Märzen. And I know a lot of people say that, but it's Märzen. The A with the two dots, the A umlaut, is kind of pronounced like the Danish A, so it's Märzen when you say it. This is super crushable, super drinkable. There's a little bit of a bitterness to it. It's not a huge amount. I think it's pretty perfect for the style. It's just like a soft, bitter touch on the end, which help cut some of the kind of sweeter, slightly toffee, crusty, bready malt flavors. And again, it's like almost like sourdough is what it's reminding me of for some reason. And then like there's like that really nice kind of touch of peppery hop bite to it. It's not like crazy amount, but it's like really nice, like a black pepper flavor. I don't know so much about nettles on the aroma, but it's definitely black pepper on the flavor, or nettles as on the aroma. Really nice carbonation, really good body too. Higher carbonation and quite fluffy mouthfeel and like really soft body. Quite slick in the mouth, and then it dries out, which is like, that's one of the big things for me. Like I usually tread lightly when it comes to the darker lagers, which is in between, except if it's like double buck or whatever. Because sometimes I feel like they can be a bit cloying unless you have a good amount of bitterness to help cut some of that like sweeter bready malt profile and like more like a baked bread and slightly nutty toffee-esque flavor. And this does that very well. Like it has that bitterness just to keep it really, really drinkable. And I think that's also probably what they set out to do. Try and make a Festbier which you can have quite a few of, because this is exactly that. This is just like the Weihenstephaner. It's something where I'd say, yeah, I'd have another stein, please, because it's just so drinkable and refreshing. In terms of the hop character, maybe a bit of grassiness too, but the big thing is like a spicy black pepper flavor. Lots of it, actually. Just maybe a little bit of Kräuter, which is like the German saying for spiciness as well, that spicy hop flavor. But yeah, it translates into mainly a black pepper thing. But yeah, this is a great interpretation of Festbier and a great interpretation of a lightly dark Märzen. I think one of the best distilled Märzen I've had from Knoblauch. That is fantastic Märzen, but this is still also really, really good. I'd definitely give it probably like 90, 91. I think I'll tie it to the Weihenstephaner. Maybe I actually prefer this just a little bit because it has a bit more of a hop bite and a bit more of a snap and that dryness that I really like in lager beers. So I think I might give this the edge and maybe say 91, 92. Whereas, you know, that's definitely a straight 90, I think, for the Weihenstephaner. Just because, you know, I think I could drink more of this, and I love bitterness and hop flavor in lagers. So that's also a big part of it, especially when they're a little bit more light and golden in color. But this is a great Festbier. This is, you know, this would have been fun also to sit with in that video of the top 10. And this is definitely something I think you should drink if you're based in Europe, because I don't think this is something you'll see in the States. But in Europe, this is a great bet for a Festbier from a craft brewery. So yeah, if you guys had a chance to try the Brewing Festbier, let me know what you thought of it. Fantastic stuff. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I want to say cheers and see you guys in another beer review.